ask me, I can talk about it. I'm trying to manage. Because I've got rid of most of my stuff now. To other people, I still have a lot. Now my life is manageable. So, not so much. I worry when the fire came of losing all these things, and I thought that possession and the attachment. So anyway, tell me when you want to start.
We already did.
You are so tricky.
Yes, so I was telling you at this point, what I want to do is fix all the things that triggers me, fix everything that triggers me and then makes me upset for many days, and then that ruins many things in the family as well when you're grumpy. And then, but the problem is not very good. I'm not very good at expressing things. I like to keep things inside, and maybe that's the thing I need to work on.
Yes, because sometimes expressing yourself, you might feel you're vulnerable and you want to present a stronger front to the world. You don't. You feel like you must handle it and not go, I'm not coping, or I'm feeling bad about that. Just, it's called, what do they call it? There's a word for it. Anyway, it'll come to me. So if you're not feeling like going out or socialising, you can just easily put on a face to the world. When you could easily say, you've got to be more honest and say, actually, I'm too tired. I really, what do they call it? Masking, yes. You go out and you're so tired, but you've made a commitment, but you can easily...
Problem saying no, and then...
But inside you're thinking, I want to be in bed. That sort of concept, so... yes, and I'm trying to learn to not hyper-focus on something bad that happened 2 years ago and still holding it.
Oh, that's exactly me as well. Like, but you think you've forgotten things, but then it's still stored in your body and mind. And when certain thing triggers those things, it comes out without you realizing it was a trauma from those incidents.
And to know when to let go. There was a really bad manager, and just as I was finishing my career, and she came and destroyed the house and abused the woman.
Wow.
Their rights. I've never worked with such a monster in my life, and I started to put formal complaints against her, and none of the staff would support me because they said if they speak against her, they'll lose their shifts. So
Where was this?
This is in Melbourne.
Oh, wow.
We had a beautiful house of people living with disabilities that we supported to live the fullest life. She didn't wash them, she didn't shower them, she didn't feed them properly. She was a monster, and I asked the staff to support her. She can't be working with vulnerable people, basically. And I took the formal complaint to the organisation, and she was still working there 3 months later, and I was in Nepal then. And last year, so basically, I was very upset that, my whole focus when I returned to Melbourne last year was finding where she is and making sure that she never works in the field again. And I had to spend months coming up against organisations that said it's confidential. So I fought a battle that I couldn't win, and I had to let go, and it still makes me upset that she could be out there doing the same thing to vulnerable people. And I got really angry with the staff and said, you are not entitled to work in this field. This is not your job. If you watch people abuse people, you report it. You don't ignore it because you're going to lose money. I said, I'm disgusted with all of you. You know, you shouldn't be working. Oh, but I said, there's no one would stand up except me. Anyway, so yes, I couldn't let that go.
Something like what you just explained is what makes me mad as well.
Yes.
Injustice, and then...
Oh, the camera's on. I hope you're going to edit.
I'm just making sure I'm in the frame as well. Otherwise, sometimes you record the whole video and you're not even in the frame. Anyway, so I remember when we met in 2007. Was it 7? Yes, 7. 2007, nearly 20 years. You had never been to Nepal. What made you want to come here, and then how?
Well, yes, because when I met you in Melbourne, all I knew about Nepal was that Edmund Hillary, because Medoga, New Zealand,
Oh, yes.
All I knew that was Edmund Hillary had climbed to the top of Sagarmatha with Tenzing Sherpa And I always loved the story that they couldn't speak each other's language, but they were brothers for life. And
Yes.
together they stepped. They didn't fight for the honour of me first. Together they stepped. And so that's all I knew about Nepal, and that it had huge mountains. And I was not even aware of the Maoist conflict.
Had you started already? Oh, yes.
Yes,
Of
it was.
course.
So Nepal was this mysterious kingdom that I thought I'll probably never go there, because I thought I'd step off the plane and actually have to start climbing. I thought it was all Himal.
You know what they say about Australia? Like on the street, you will see fine
kangaroos. Yes.
And students go to school riding a kangaroo.
Yes.
Have you heard that story?
Yes. Yes.
People think like that.
Yes, they think. So yes, my perception of Nepal was I didn't even think I was capable of trekking. I was quite a fit person, but the climbing part to me wasn't my, even though I'm a Capricorn goat. So I ended up in India at the end of a bit of a little world. I'd gone to places that I'd always dreamed of, because I didn't start travelling too late because I had no money. So the minute I had money, like my daughter was earning, I just couldn't wait to get at the world. So I'd been to India once. Was it my first time?
Varanasi, was it?
Yes, I think I'd done a trip to India and I wanted to go back. So Varanasi. And I met this Nepali guy there, his friend was working in the hotel, and in a nutshell, he said, "Oh, where are you going to next?" And I said, "Kashmir." And he said, "Why do you want to go to Kashmir? There's fighting there." And I said, "I've been told in Delhi," they said, "there's tourists there, now it's safe." And he said, what would you do? And I said, "Well, I really want to see the beautiful snowy Himalayas and the lakes." And he went, "We have that in Nepal and it's safe." He said, "You should think of coming to Nepal." I said, "Oh, I haven't got a visa, or I haven't." He said, "No." He said, "It's really easy entry." And he said, "Think about it," because he had to travel back for Dasai, so that must have been October.
And this was Narayan?
Yes,
Okay.
Narayan. And I thank him forever for introducing me to a Nepal that a lot of tourists don't see. And yes.
So you met him in
Varanasi. Yes, he was working there and he wanted to come home for Dasai.
Okay.
So, in a nutshell, he said, "I'm going soon. If I can, come through the border with me, and on the way you can do a little tour of Lumbini, Buddha's birthplace." And I said, "Really?"
So this was in 2007?
8?
8.
Not bad.
No, 7.
7. Yes, because I ended up, yes, I thought, I'm in Mangal's country. I must tell him. The first place, he said, "We can go to Lumbini on the way to Buddha's birthplace." And it was really lovely. He did it all for free. I got a free tour because he was on the way anyway.
Yeah.
And not that that's the issue, but he was very kind. He didn't say it'll cost. He just said, "I'll show you on the way." So, and I didn't know Buddha was born in Nepal, so that excited me. And then he said, "And then we'll go to the jungle." And I said, "You've got jungle?" He said, "We've got tigers." So it wasn't all climbing.
So you knew nothing about Nepal when you first
Nothing about its geography, the environment, and then, so basically, yes, and then the last stop was Pokhara, and I saw the Tal, and it was just blew my mind. But
that's where he's from.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know where, a village, I don't know where, somewhere. I really don't know his village. I still don't know where everything is out there. So,
and how many months was this tour?
Well, he had to get back to his village for Dasa. So the thing is, this is the thing. I enjoyed the tour of Lumbini. I didn't see it all; it's so big. And then on the next day to go to Chitwan, I started to feel a little bit ill in the bus. By the time we got to Sauraha, I was feeling a little bit off. So I said to Naren, "Oh, I think I might go and rest in my room. I'm not feeling well." I didn't know I had typhoid.
Wow.
So
first time in Nepal and you got typhoid.
Oh, I think I got it in India. Okay. In fact, I know
How
I
do you
did.
get typhoid?
You get it from the contaminated water, and because I spent a lot of time in Varanasi, I might have got a bit lazy with the salads, because people don't get sick from the Ganga, but the Ganga is pure water.
Okay.
But still, the water can make people sick in India just because of the infrastructure. So, but I just thought I had an infection, and so luckily I was with Naren, and so he went out and got me. I said, "Please get me antibiotics. I think I have an infection until I can get." He said, if you're still sick, there's good doctors, Pokera. So yes, I saw everything through a haze of high fever, but I made myself go down and look at the elephants, and then on the bus to Pokera, I was on the boat in Puatau. I pushed myself, but mainly I was in bed, and Naren had delivered me antibiotics, but when we got on the bus to Kathmandu, he had to move to his village. That's when I realised I was actually very, very sick.
Okay.
And I actually asked some German girls, because Naren was sitting up the back. I said, can you please call a Red Cross helicopter? And they went, what? I said, please call a helicopter. I thought I was going to die. And then, anyway, to cut a long story short, Naren could see that I was really, really sick, so he arranged for his friend to meet us at the bus. He said, my friend will be there with a motorbike, hop on. Are you insured for travel insurance? He will take you straight to Travellers Hospital. I will bring your bags.
Wow.
So by the time I got off the bus, Mahendra, he was the first person I met in Nepal, really, that I still know today, that he had the long dreadlocks, he was on a motorbike. He said, 1,000 times welcome to Nepal, now get on quick. And we raced through the streets of Kathmandu, like, no helmet. And I'm thinking, ooh, no helmet. And
so this was in Kalanki?
and finally, when we got to Kathmandu, I'd been doing a tour with typhoid, but most of the time I was in bed. I'd get up sometimes. Because Naren had friends along the way, so he was enjoying, and I was fine in bed. So, and then when I got to the Travellers Hospital in Kathmandu, I got out of the bus. Naren was looking after my bag, and Mahendra, this strange man I just met with dreadlocks, was racing me through. However, despite the typhoid, and then they fixed me up. They got me back to Australia. I was still sick for a few months, but...
Do you remember which month you got back? Was it October, September? October?
It must have been October, because whenever Dasai was nearly 19 years
Because that year we met in November.
Sure.
You rescued me in November.
All right, and then then I went away the next year after you'd lived with me.
You went again.
But I wasn't planning Nepal. I had places, Finland and Morocco. I thought, I got a cheap round-the-world ticket you can get nowadays.
Ah.
Back then you could buy a round-the-world ticket for cheaper than I do a return to Nepal. And you can stop off and hop on.
Okay.
They still do them now.
So while you were traveling to Nepal, that is when I was living with 25 people in a crowded house in Melbourne.
When I met you.
Yes.
In the illegal...
No, okay, so that was when you had already returned. No, I was living with them for a few months.
When I met
I was new in Australia.
Brand new.
But before that, I want to go back to you. Eat your yogurt. I'll keep telling the story. So what happened was, I was working in a restaurant called Lentil as Anything.
Oh, that was after we met.
No, before. Oh.
No, I took you there. We walked along the river.
No, Lentil as Anything. I was already working. There, but when you took me to the bike shed.
Oh, because I think you were already working at Lentils.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I thought I would be quiet.
So what happened was, I was new in Melbourne and I needed work. So all my friends, they were printing out their CV and handing it out to the cafes, restaurant for work. And no, they were not getting many callbacks. So I thought it's a waste of money. We need to save every single dollar. So to save the printing cost, what I decided was, I was very shy back then, but then I decided I have to get out and then talk to people, get out of my comfort zone and try to find work. So one Saturday afternoon, I went to Flinders Street, Yarra River. On the bank of the Yarra River, two ladies were having their picnic. And one was Australian, the other was African. So I just randomly talked to them and said, I'm from Nepal, I'm new in Melbourne, I desperately need work. Do you guys know anywhere where I can find work? So they were first very shocked. You don't really get strangers coming and asking for work. So they were very kind ladies, and then the African ladies told me, I am a musician and I play music every Tuesday at this place called Lentil as Anything. So she gave me the address and told me to come there on Tuesday night so that I can meet them and then they can introduced me to the owner, the Sri Lankan man.
That's right.
So I was very busy back then. Like I had uni all day, and then I was always confused about the train routes, which one to catch, and then getting lost all the time in Melbourne. And then, so finally, by following the map and following the train timetable, I ended up reaching Lentil as anything at 9 o'clock when it was closing. So luckily they were doing the dishes, and then they started doing dishes, and I was just in time because everyone was packing. The musician was also packing her stuff, and then she introduced me to Shanaka, the owner of Lentil as anything, and then I was asked to come start on Saturday. I said you can come and work in the kitchen. So I was living with 25 Nepalese people in a crowded house. This was in Brunswick, I think.
Coburg?
Coburg, yes, Coburg. Coburg, and then that house. No, first I was living in Coburg, but then they moved to Kew.
Okay.
You know Kew, right?
Yes, I lived there too.
Kew is a
once.
fancy suburb.
Yeah, I lived there once.
Really
Boring.
boring. But it's so they were. I was living in Kew where after work, um, I had to go home, and the house was near a cemetery. A cemetery.
I know that cemetery in Kew.
Anyways, so I was traveling by train a lot, but then a friend of mine, Michelle, she suggested, why don't you go and buy a bicycle? Because by riding bicycle, you can save your train. Everyone knew that I was struggling, trying to save money for my uni fees, and then I had a huge loan to pay back home, and then so they were all very supportive. My friends at Lentil as anything, and all the volunteers. So Michelle, she told me there's a garage sale happening in
Brunswick.
Brunswick. It was probably Brunswick somewhere. Northcote or Brunswick?
No, because I met you in Brunswick and you just got it up the road, so that was Brunswick.
Okay,
where
so
we met, yeah.
after work when I reached the garage sale place, two children were selling many things, and they had that bicycle. Luckily, it was still not sold. They had $15 written on it. I gave them $15, came out with the bicycle, but then I realized it had flat wheels. So I went back and I asked for $5 back. I said, I need some money to fix it. Can you please give me $5 back? Again, they were very kind, and then they were first surprised, but they were children, so maybe they were scared of me or something.
Yes.
So they just gave me $5.
Yeah.
Now, Michelle also told me if you need anything that needs to be fixed on the bike, you go to East Brunswick in a place called Ceres Environment Park. That's where you are living, next door. And you go there and fix it yourself. You don't have to pay anything. So now my next mission was to fix the flat wheel of the bicycle. So again, no clue where East Brunswick is. So I decided to ask someone on the street, and that's you.
God sent me to that moment.
Yes,
I
so
believe that.
that's where we got connected, and then you told me you had been to India, but you had never been to Nepal until then.
Because I said, are you from India? I didn't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then so you ended up walking with me. We kept talking, and then when we got to the Ceres Environment Park, you showed me the bike shed. You had something on that night. You had a party or something to go to.
Probably.
But I told you I have no clue how to fix a bicycle, so I was folding my hands, and you were fixing my bike for me.
And then I told, okay, this is the funny thing. I don't know if you heard this. There's a few guys there, bicycle experts that just oversee everything. And I went up and I said, look, please look after my friend. He's just arrived from Nepal, and he's buying a bike. He's starting out with work and no money.
Mhm.
So can you just help him fix it? He's from Nepal. He went, Nepal are fine. He said they can fix anything. He
Not
said they're the
me.
most cleverest people I've ever met in the world. He said,
Not me. I had never cooked anything in my life back home. I had never fixed anything in my life because here we have little shops
of course.
you go to and to fix
I had
things.
this idea like Nepali, he'll be fine, but
And then you actually did all the fixing for me, fixed the tube, fixed the puncture, whatever needed to be done. And then after that, you
Yes, what numbers?
You found a paper and then you drew a map for me how to get to Q from there. And I started riding my bicycle. I knew how to ride a bicycle. The first day of riding the bicycle, and it was a red light, and I went middle of the highway. I rode on my bicycle. I nearly got killed because all the cars started coming and they started beeping, and then
Because no traffic lights here yet in Nepal back then.
no, we don't really follow traffic. So I was so scared, and I was like, "What is happening? Why is everyone middle of the highway?" Like
I wonder which road that was. One of the big busy roads.
big one, because to go to Kew from Brunswick, you have to pass the main highway, and then so first time in Australia, nearly got killed.
Yes,
Luckily, I didn't.
across the highway with that.
I think I also had a helmet and everything, but it was very scary for me to ride
Yes.
on a new country and then new
Gotcha.
experience, and then
Gotcha.
so finally by following the map, you draw me. By the way, I found that map while cleaning the house the other day, and it made me remember all with your handwriting and everything. You know how you have big handwritings. So
I can't even remember drawing that map. I shouldn't have taken you across the highway. I should have thought to. Anyway.
no, but you have to cross the highway.
Yes, there could have been another way. That
Unless you go through the river, but it'll be too far.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know the highway. Chandler, yes.
So I started living in Kew, and I used to ride my bicycle everywhere. Sometimes I would put my bicycle on the train, and when it's late, and then if it's far distance.
Yes.
So it was quite an adventure. Especially loved riding through the Yara River after work. So lovely. Sometimes you come across kangaroos, and then one night after midnight, I decided to ride back home, and until then I had no light on my bicycle. I couldn't afford, or everything used to feel expensive because you are saving every dollar. Even if it's a $2, you'd still worry about the $2 because you are trying to save for your uni fee next semester, and then you also had to pay the rent at the place where you're living. And so without any lights at midnight, I started riding across the Yara River. Very, very dark. You could only see a little bit, and then suddenly there would be a bird or a bat making a shushing flying sound.
Oh, the bats, yes, they all live down there, yes.
So very, very scary, but very nice experience. And then I actually felt like I got chased by a ghost or something when a sudden noise came, and then but with a very big heartbeat, with my heart pumping, I reached my house safely, and then it's one of the scariest thing I've done in my life without the light going riding past the river.
Yes, that's so scary. I wouldn't do it.
All right, just a second. I just pause the video and continue again because